Hey, music lovers, Chris Hess here, coming to you from Lexington, Massachusetts. And this is chapter 2 of my series on how to make your first virtual choir project. In this video, I'll give an overview of the virtual choir process and run through a list of the resources you'll need. If you want an introduction to virtual choirs and more background about this series, check out chapter 1. Let's talk about the process of making a virtual choir. I can tell by the look in your virtual eyes that what you really want is a slide. So here one is. There are 5 basic steps to a virtual choir. First, you need something to sing. A song, if you will. Duh. This seems obvious. What might not be obvious is what kind of song you might want your first virtual choir to be. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video. Second, you'll need a guide track. This is either an audio recording or a video recording that your singers can practice and perform to. Guide tracks are what make it possible for all of these separate recordings to be in the same key and time. Again, what kind of guide track you need to make will depend on your song, your group, and what you're trying to accomplish with your final product. Okay. Once you've given all of your singers their guide tracks, they'll practice the piece and then record a video of themselves singing their part. Lots to talk about here. It might seem like this is something you, as the organizer, don't have to do, but you will likely get involved in various ways, which I will address in future videos. All right, when the recordings are done, you need to collect them in one virtual place and organize the files. Finally, you'll edit the singer files together into a virtual choir video that you can make available to your audience in various ways. There will be videos in this series addressing all of these steps. Before we get too far into the nuts and bolts, though, let's quickly run through what you need to make a virtual choir. 1993 called, and it demands that a slide be displayed. First off, you need the sheet music for your song. If you can't hand your singers their music in person, you'll need a way to get it to them, either in hard copy or electronically. Either way, please make sure that you're distributing legal copies. Second, you need a way to communicate with your singers, like an email list or a chat group or some other online mechanism. Third, you're going to need a fast internet connection. Video files are gigantic. Fourth, you'll need video editing software that can layer multiple videos together. You might hear these referred to as NLEs, which stands for non-linear editors. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. There are many other programs that can do the job, including Final Cut Pro, Davinci Resolve, iMovie, and many more. Fifth, you might want to have an audio editing program known as a DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. If you have only a few singers in your ensemble, you could probably get away with doing your audio processing in your video program. The more singers you have, the more you should consider editing your audio separately for reasons I'll get to in a later video. I did my first virtual choir with 20 singers, all in Premiere, my NLE, and I regretted it. If I have more than 3 singers from now on, I'll use Adobe Audition for the audio mix. There are lots of great DAWs, including Audacity, Pro Tools, Logic, and many others. Sixth, you'll need a computer that can run your software. The more powerful, the better. Video processing in general is very resource intensive for a computer, and compositing dozens of videos together can bog you down pretty quickly. In future videos, I'll describe some workflow techniques to help with that, but everything will be better with more power. I work in Windows. Macs are great too. I don't have experience doing this kind of thing in Linux, but I imagine it's probably possible. There are probably kids out there who could do this all on their phone, but I can't. Seventh, you need someone who knows how to use the software tools you choose. This does not have to be you. It can be somebody else. It can be somebody you hire. It could be a volunteer. It can be somebody in your church. It can be somebody at your school, somebody you find. Okay, last, you need enough time to build the project before you need to show it. The biggest driver of effort will be how many singers you have. I've built one of these in a day with just a handful of singers, and I've taken 3 weeks start to finish on bigger projects. As with projects in general, the answer to what will it take is always it depends. The first virtual choir I built with 20 singers took me between 80 and 100 hours of effort. Piece of cake, right? If you don't have or can't get access to all of this stuff, you might not be dead in the water. There are companies out there who will do everything you need other than recording your singers. I've never worked with any of them, but I know they exist. If you have a budget for your project, outsourcing the whole thing might be an option. If you're still with me, it's time to get specific. In the next video, let's look at picking a good song for your first virtual choir project. I'm not talking about the quality of the music. I'm talking about choosing something that you have a good chance of making into a quality virtual choir on your first try. Thanks for watching. I've been Chris, and I'll see you on the other side.